very good afternoon to you and welcome to today's edition of Joy Business Masterclass. Masterclass is powered by Joy Business and is brought to us by Goyle. Goyle, they say good energy, Goyle, Yenara, Yedia. Masterclass comes your way every Wednesday at 1:15 p.m. and runs all through to 2 p.m. here on your superstation, Joy 99.7. My name, as always, is Yaw Anim Barnafo, and I'm glad to be your host for today's edition of Masterclass. Thank God it's a brand new month with brand new opportunities and also new avenues for growth. This month here at Multimedia, we're celebrating the Ghana month and everything that makes us Ghanaian, the positive things that make us Ghanaian. So by all means, do join us to celebrate all the good things, emphasis on good things that make us Ghanaian. Last month here on the show, we started our conversation for this year, and we talked about AI in business. We had with us Alfred Opare-Safra. Alfred, a very good afternoon to you if you're listening to us. He joined us for all of 4 weeks. And here on the show, he shared a very spirited conversation with us on how we can leverage AI in our businesses today, not tomorrow. Today, using our phones, using our business processes, and becoming better for it. And he did say very strongly in that conversation that we are, as a country, and almost as a continent, in some respects, very late to the table of competition. And as one of my fathers put it after the show, he says that, yeah, the horses have left the stall. Now we play catch up. But even with that, it's too late. So by all means, let's begin to look at how we can leverage AI in our businesses as entrepreneurs, as business owners, so that we can compete on the world stage. If you did miss that conversation in any way, by all means, do go to our Facebook page, our YouTube page, or our X page, and you can be a part of that conversation. Today, we continue with yet another brilliant Ghanaian. That's one of the things that Masterclass will do for you. It'll bring you brilliant Ghanaians of renown and endeavor who will tell you the stories of their business journey. And today, we have one such Ghanaian here. He is the CEO and creative director of Mills Media. He's a Ghanaian filmmaker. He's an animator. Yes, for those of you who love animations, all of those animations, Moana, I can keep going on and on, Mulan and all of that. You are still children at heart. You love your animations. He's also an entrepreneur and he's a TEDx speaker. Yes, TEDx, the very famous show where very renowned people go there and speak about business ideas. Just to also remind you that we're streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, and also on X. My guest for this afternoon has one of those CVs that goes on and on and on and on, but he's done some really great work. One of his notable achievements is the creation of the Asantewaa comic book and game, which reimagines the life and legendary Yaw Asantewaa and captivating the visual format. So obviously we've put some content there for Ghana as well. He's also done some great work. He sold out at the Silverbird Cinemas on 2 occasions or more even. There was something he also did, his acclaimed 3D animated film about Nana Yaw Asantewaa, again featuring Ghana's award-winning actress, Nana Ama McBrown. Nana Ama, good afternoon to you. Your boy's in the studio. Jesse is here. So by all means, if someone is listening, tag Nana Ama, tell her that the story she featured in, or the movie she featured in, is now airing, not the movie, but the writer is airing on Joy FM right now on Masterclass. And he's done a lot of great work, which he'll tell us about today. But on today's show, he's going to talk to us about a number of things. Number one, the story of his business journey in film, in animation, in entrepreneurship, and the value chain that creates, and at various points where we can all connect as people to build the Ghanaian story and to tell the Ghanaian story by Ghanaians. You know, oftentimes we say that if the lions don't learn to turn their own tails, then the hunters will tell the tale and skew it to their advantage. My guest for this afternoon's conversation, Jesse Sunkwa-Mills. Jesse,
that's right.
I'm already excited. The energy we brought from before the show off air, we're sort of bringing it onto the show.
I'm excited to be here too.
But we just want to sort of hear your story. Every time we do this, we go back onto the streets and we say, for all the principles we talk about, for all the branding, the communication, the leadership, you know, all the planning, all the project management, when you've showed up at work and it's March 4th and 2 months have already gone in the year and you're getting close to your end of Q1 report and there's very little to show. How does it pan out? Some have given up at this point. Some never made it this far. But you're here. And your story is going to inspire a lot of people who are listening this afternoon.
Hopefully.
So let's start with, you're going to tell us your story, but let's start with the man behind the name. We're going to do that real quick because I want to get to the part where I talk about what you're doing, your work, and how it can inspire and how it can plug in. But who's the man behind the names? Sunkwa-Mills is a very, it's one of those names in Ghana, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It actually is. I'm sure you probably may have heard Jesse Sunkwa-Mills. That's my uncle.
Right.
Yeah, former CEO, Multi-Choice Ghana. So,
Right.
yeah. So
Okay.
maybe that's where the familiarism may be coming
Okay.
from. But yeah.
Okay. All right. So, tell us about family, about growing up, about school.
Right. Yes, Jesse Sunkwa-Mills, from a family of three, firstborn, only boy. So you know the pressure that comes with. I schooled in Nongwa Senior High School, where
So, your old students are called what?
Abladi.
So,
Then
all the
we respond
Abladi B.
Wone. Yes.
Abladi
Which
B.
means the royals.
Your boys in the studio.
Exactly.
Okay. So, when I say Abladi, what do they say?
Wone.
Okay. So,
Yes.
Abladi.
Wone.
Good.
Exactly.
Good. All right.
Yeah, that's where it started from, where I did visual arts in school. I mean, I've always been very excited and passionate about art growing up. I'll draw everywhere, anytime I get the chance to, even as a little boy. And so even in junior high, I would do some graphic designing as well in junior high school. And then in senior high, I did visual arts. And then I continued to the university.
I was terrible at visual arts.
Oh,
I mean, they would say, hold up your fist and draw it, and I'll draw something that
yeah,
looked
that's like picture making.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. So there.
But I suppose that this right here, you bring this even into industry and into,
Right.
into making money, is an inspiration for every young child who's listening to this.
Exactly,
If you're a father, you're a
exactly.
business owner, you have a child who says, I want to do art.
Yeah,
Don't beat them about it. Art is,
I've had to speak to a lot of parents about the same situation you're referring to, where usually they are not sure of the pathway for their
art is what
kids.
they call him.
What they call it, and that kind of conversation. But
Lawyer,
thankfully,
and I say, "Quiet."
times have changed. Thankfully, some people like ourselves have become a living proof and an example to parents to make them understand your kid can actually do arts in school and do great stuff. And so,
But I mean, come to think
Yeah.
about it, all the creatives we see, that brings a top of mind awareness.
Exactly.
It comes from
Yeah,
art. That's
yeah.
it.
and in recent times, creativity is what's changing in the world. It has always been. It's just that in recent times, we're now beginning to throw a lot more light on it, and we're beginning to see that creativity or the creative spaces where to go these days.
We're going to go into your business in about 30 seconds. Before that, though, I want one more point of connection.
Right.
What football club?
Arsenal, Gunners. The Gunners. Your face didn't look good.
Now, I'll let you settle for a minute, but I'm sure that my anyway, let me just leave it there.
Yes. Yeah.
So tell us, when you were getting done with uni, did you start business when you were in uni, or when you got done with uni, or at what point did you decide?
Yeah.
to go into
So this whole dream, or the Mills Media dream, was birthed from even senior high school. Yes, it was a dream I had with my best friend at the time, who sadly is no longer with us, Humphrey Brown. May his soul rest in peace.
God rest his soul.
And it was just a simple conversation about, oh, bro, I think it would be cool if, we owned a business together one day where, it's a creative firm and we have, a team of designers. Don't you think that would be cool? That's how it started. And then it continued with me through to tertiary, and then afterwards.
Another inspiration right there. To all those who started conversations like this in school.
Exactly.
I'm one of them. I remember the name of the business. The thing didn't leave the University of Ghana. First, we wanted to do breakfast, and then we went to something else. But your story is an example of inspiration.
Yeah.
That regardless of how many people have failed, if you're doing it now, you're in school, you got a couple of friends together, you're saying, let's come together, let's do this.
Yeah.
Businesses have been born
Yeah.
out of discussions like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So don't give up, don't
No.
despair.
No.
Ghana needs to hear from you. Maybe you're the next whatever.
You never
But
know.
I just wanted to draw that point of inspiration
Yeah.
to our listeners.
Yes. And it's still something I tell, the young guys a lot. Even guys who would come in to our studios for internship and all of that. I tell them, you guys can always come together as, a team or whatever while I was in school and start something. You never know where that leads to. So that's where it started. And then, continued into the university. But then it was after school, and I did my national service for a year, that I decided to start the business. But then while I was in school, I think I was already working professionally, but for other companies. And that was to help me gain some hands-on experience, which was very important, because you can't just dive into starting your own business and not know where to start from.
So again, the learning point here is that the idea and the passion is not enough.
No.
you need the experience.
Definitely, yes.
Right.
And so I started working professionally right from level 200, and so I would come to Accra a lot. Yeah, like almost every day
You
of
come
the
to
week.
Accra from where?
From Winneba, because
From
that's where I
Winneba.
attend University of Education, Winneba.
Right.
Yeah, and I'll come home almost every day of the week. We used to call it Kome. Yeah, would have to come down and do actual work, and that's where I would make some money
What
from.
were you doing at the time?
So I was working with an agency at the time, yeah, design company, and because I was in school, I would pick some days and come and do certain things in person, but then I often work, from school. And I had to do that up until I finished school.
And this was because probably the resources were available at the company premises and not with you in school?
Yes, sometimes, but then it's not like in recent times where, also because of COVID, people have now gotten used to working remotely. Back then it wasn't. I'm talking 2012, thereabout. Yeah, please don't start calculating my age, but
but you
yeah.
had to be in the space to be relevant
Exactly,
in
yes,
delivery.
yes.
Right.
And so that's why I would have to come down sometimes just so that I could touch base. The boss would tell you certain things to do, and then you go back to school, you have them done, and then the next time. So it was like that for some time, and
Right.
yeah.
But this was you working for someone, and you were
Yes.
learning the ropes.
Yes.
You were learning. Let's
Yeah.
go to when you first earned your first revenue. What did you do and how? Tell us that story.
You mean after I
Your
started
first
the
business deal. I mean, so let's say someone said, look, can you do XYZ for me? And then you say, I'm going to bill you that. Most of the time, your first negotiations are like, oh, don't worry, you can give me anything.
So let me tell you one that stuck with me and one that kept me going at the point where I almost felt like I didn't want to do this because so at the time where I did my national service for a year, and that's where I learned so much before starting my own business from my former boss, Christy Ekuafeye. Shout outs to her. She taught me so much, and that's when I started my company right after. And I'm talking for 7 months straight, I wasn't making any money. And my parents didn't know I'd quit my job. They didn't know. I hid it from them because the plan was finish school, get a job, support, your sisters and all. And here I was trying to chase my dream. And so I couldn't just tell them I had quit the job.
Did you quit the job because the passion got in the way of your job?
A bit of both. And also I knew I couldn't treat this as a side hustle anymore.
It had to be the main thing.
Yes, I had to put myself all in or nothing
You
else.
had to drink deep or taste none.
Exactly.
And that's a step that sometimes is almost difficult to take. It's at that point that many people fall back.
Right.
I mean, it's not an easy thing to do.
No.
Believe me, I have
Yes.
walked away from a lot of those. I'm like, what? Jump?
Yeah, it was tough. And I realized it when I started because lonely days, there were times where you find yourself crying and asking yourself why you did this because you were chilling in your previous company.
And there's another, learning point here, which I want us to, as what you're telling us your story, we're learning from it. And so if you're listening to us this afternoon, you're listening to Jesse's story,
Right.
we're asking you to persevere.
Right.
I can say that to you because I'm not in that situation right now, but Jesse is a living example of perseverance. And there's a gentleman who comes here on the show quite a bit, Oscar Bimpong. Oscar, good afternoon to you. Now, Oscar also persevered so hard that one time he did something really crazy. He didn't wait for 7 months and not get paid. He hired a whole room and put posters out for a program for people to come and listen to him. No one showed up. And so on the day he went into the room, Oscar, I'm telling you a story on there, and set up the microphone and started to speak to the chairs. And he said the owner opened the door and said, Masa, Boko dear.
Wow.
But he
that
said,
takes a lot of faith.
He said what that did to him was that he told them that regardless of whether or not people showed up,
the show must continue.
The show must continue.
Yeah.
It sounds ridiculous, but today, Oscar is big.
Nice.
And Oscar will come here and tell his own story. I'm just speaking to perseverance. That it's a learning point we must pick from your story.
That's
you
right.
persevered for 7 months.
Yeah.
You were not getting paid.
Yeah.
But you were still pushing.
Exactly.
And today there's Mills Media.
Yeah. I mean, and it was at that point I felt like, going back to working at the art agency and all, but I chanced on a friend who I'd gone to do some work for, and I just went to print out stuff and was like, oh, it's been a while. What do you do now? And I'm like, oh, I do my own thing. And, hey, then you're a big man. But I knew what was going on with me. So it was through that a job came through, and it turned out to be Miss Bell. So Miss Bell was my very first proper notable client. Shout outs to Miss Bell.
Thank you for helping the young ones.
Yeah, it was Miss Bell, and she called and she was like, I heard you are a web developer. And I'm like, yes. Okay, I need a website done. Where's your office? I'm like, oh, I'm in Osu. Okay, I'm coming there tomorrow. And guess what? I'm in an office space that's literally empty. It was just a desk and a chair and my laptop. I didn't even have a ceiling fan. Very empty office. It echoes when you even cough.
Yeah. Oh dear.
That's how it was. And I was just like, sorry. I just feel like I need to tell you this, but I'm
so
a
that
startup.
You're not disappointed.
Yes, I'm a startup, and I know you're a big profile person and all, but I'm just starting, and you might not see some things when you come in that you be expecting.
That's such an honest heart.
Yes, so I'm just letting you. And she said something that moved me so much. So she was like, she doesn't care where I'm working from. All that matters to her is I can get the job done. And that got to me.
It did something to you.
So before she came in, I had already started working on a thing. I put stuff together. She came in and I showed her the work I had. And guess what? I even had to borrow a chair for her to sit on from the next shop because I didn't have extra chairs at the time. And she came in and she saw the work I had done and she was amazed and she paid me my first big money in a long while.
How did that feel?
Very good.
Because you had earned it.
Immediately she left, I broke down in tears because I was at the point of giving up then because I was tired, and that thing, revived something in me and the story just went up from there. I started getting calls because she loved the work I did so much that she posted me on her Instagram and tagged me, and the post was like, when you're working with the best, and put my handle there, and the calls were coming in. One thing led to another. I didn't even see how Mills Media grew till now. And,
for all those who have leverage in industry, whether in entertainment or media, please help the young ones.
Exactly.
But you two, the young ones, be serious. Because these opportunities, they come by once in a very long while.
You need to be ready when it comes in. And,
but you're a product of help.
Yes.
And that's how it should be. We should help each other.
Yes.
I mean, you're there in a position, reach out and help someone to also grow. Because now, the impact that you make, you've hired all of these young ones, haven't you?
Yeah.
And that's because someone helped you.
Yeah.
And that's how
it creates a ripple effect.
That's how it should be.
Yes.
So now tell us about Mills Media, what you do.
So Mills Media is what you would call like a full service creative firm or studio. We provide creative digital solutions. But in recent times, we're known for the animated films we make. But we make the graphics, the web design, videos, production and stuff. But then we're known primarily for making animated films. Yes, and so...
Tell us about some of those. I think I was reading a couple of them in your profile.
Yeah,
which sort of sold out to this.
I mean, animation, if you ask my people and anybody that knows me so much, will tell you right from the beginning in school, that's something I'd been crazy about all my life. And that was like the ultimate for me in starting a business, even in the first place. I wanted to tell authentic Ghanaian and African stories using animated films.
Let me ask you this question though. If I Googled and I asked Meta, what is animation? It will give me a textbook definition. You're passionate about it. So what's your understanding of animation?
Trying to break it down in a very simple layman's
term. Your response.
Okay.
Not the textbook response, your response.
Basically, it's a tool with which, or a medium with which you are able to tell stories.
But why not film? Why not...
Animation is film.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But then there's live action and then there's animation. But animation is film. It's just a different medium of storytelling.
Okay. So why not when I say film, I mean...
Live action.
Live action, yes.
For me, I feel live action is limited as compared to animation. With animation, your limitation is your imagination. Anything is possible in animation. If you've seen animations or what you might call cartoons, you can see a character run off a cliff, and just before the character falls off the cliff, they can be hanging in the air, rolling their legs, which defies gravity.
Yeah.
But it's possible in animation, and anything you think of is possible in the world of animation. And so the kind of stories I really wanted to tell, I knew animation was what was going to tell.
I like what you said that, animation is without limitation.
No. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then you wanted to use that sort of expression
Right.
to tell not just any story, but the Ghanaian story.
Yes.
Why the Ghanaian story?
African
I know
stories.
this is Ghana month. And
Yes.
it's cliche, but surely you have thought about this even before now.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate with this. Storytelling back then, I'm sure even you can relate, where an old man or granddad
by
or
the fireside,
or in a compound house somewhere, and at night you all sit by the fire and they're
especially
telling you,
when the lights went off.
Yes.
We all started singing or telling stories.
You understand, and that's how stories were being told back then.
Safwa and Co would not know anything about that. No,
they don't.
When the light goes off these days, what do you guys? Never mind.
But, that's how it was. And it had been like that for a while, even when in other parts of the world, they were already into film and other modes of storytelling. And so you'd realize that the Ghanaian stories or the African story had been left out of modern media for a very long time.
When rightly so, because the narratives are determined by certain ideologies and all of that. So if you don't tell your story, no one's going to tell it.
Yes, and yet we have very beautiful, awesome stories, so many of them. And that's why you'd even find that now the Western world has started gravitating towards our part of the world.
One of the biggest, and I'm sure you'll attest to this, one of the biggest animations that sold out worldwide was Lion King. The theme for Lion King was picked out of Africa.
Lion King is like a ritual for every child. Like, you need to watch Lion King. But it was picked from Africa.
The conceptualization was picked from Africa.
Everything. They had to come stay in Africa for some time to do their research. Everything was picked from Africa.
You know the thing about, was it Pumbaa? The thing about one of the characters sitting on the back of Pumbaa, it showed up in the animation. Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah.
Do you know that we actually had shots on these documentaries, geographic documentaries?
Yeah.
That's how they exist in the wild. Timon actually sits on the back of Pumbaa in the wild.
So when you watch documentaries or the making of these films or the behind the scenes, you will actually see Disney animators in Africa at the time. They were all brought to Africa, and you see some of them actually watching them in the safari, and they're sketching them. And that's why you could see that, they were doing exactly what these animals were doing. They would properly study them.
Tell us about Yaw Asantewaa.
Right.
And Anama McBrown.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, based off the excitement of wanting to tell these African stories, I knew there was a way I had to go about it, because for a very long time, maybe most of the stories we'll find here or the animated films you'll find are like quite short ones or proof of concept.
Trailers, stuff like
exactly, that. Yes. But I wanted to be able to make a film that I could take to cinema and have an audience come, sit, buy some popcorn and watch and say, I've come to the cinema to watch a Ghanaian animated film. And that was the thing for me. And so within the years of, finding a very good pipeline, what would work, what would not work, finally, and looking for some money, which never came, finally, in the year 2022 was when we were able to put out Asantewaa, which happens to be the very first 3D animated film ever in Ghana.
How long is it?
It's 46 minutes. Yes, and if you know animation, that's plenty work in 3D. And we took that to cinema, and the plan was, just try and see if we can sell one hall. And that was our prayer. And the time comes, and we had a whole program schedule. We were going to do this at the beginning, we'll do that, and we go in, we had an MC, the thing starts, we had seated just like this to talk about the film before it starts, and in a few minutes, the whole place was full. And I hear a lady, you could tell she's a returnee, an African-American, screaming on top of her voice because she couldn't have a place to sit, and she had paid. And I was confused. I go outside the hall, and there was chaos. One of my staff even hit her lips because there was struggle. So someone even hit her, and I wasn't sure what was happening. And the managers of Silverbed, if they are listening to me now, I was actually from there. They are like, say this anywhere you go to. They were running around trying to empty halls at the Silverbed cinemas.
Sold out.
literally. And prior to this, when I went there, funny story, I had exhausted all my funds for making the film. And so I'm like, can we do like a revenue split or something? So, because I don't have money to pay for the hall. And they were honest with me because they are business people. They were like, they are not sure that can work because, you know, they are not sure if people would come see a Ghanaian animated film, and it has to make sense, you know, for them. And so I had to find a way to get money and finally rent a hall. And then the day comes and the whole place packed, choked. They literally, Black Panther 2 was showing that day. They had to empty the halls of people who had come to see Black Panther 2 to fill it up with people who had come to see Asantewaa.
Ghana has done such a great job at trying to sell Ghana.
Right.
That Ghana will buy Ghana.
Yes.
Any day.
Once is good.
Ever more so now than about 10 years ago. And so thank you, Ghana, for supporting Jesse, you know, to do this thing. But it's brilliant.
It was amazing. And
on what channels are those airing now?
Sorry?
On what channels are those?
The films.
Yes, please.
So we've got a streaming platform called Afro Tales Plus. When you go on Google iOS, you find that that's our own streaming platform where you can find all our films to watch them there. But then it's going to be airing at the cinemas.
When is it going to be on
Friday
on Netflix?
That's a very lengthy conversation, and we may have to find time to talk about, because I mean, we've had conversations around that. We've had distributors actually reach out to us to help make that happen. And if you understand a bit of the politics in films and what goes into it, you know these things aren't that easy to do. But we've always been a studio, or myself, I've been someone who I've never liked the idea of waiting for help. I like to work with what I have, do what I can do whilst waiting, and then when the help comes, that's fine. And that's what Beth Afro Tales.
I tell you what, there are people who are listening this afternoon who probably never call into the show,
right?
But who are excited about what you're doing, and I'm sure they're going to reach out after the show. We will make this stick.
Awesome.
You came to Masterclass.
Awesome.
Jesse Sunkwa-Mills sharing some thoughts with us. We'll take a quick message from our sponsors. When we come back, we get interactive.
Your favorite on-air business development program, Joy Business Masterclass, is in session, and you can interact with us on Facebook via the Joy 99.7 FM or Joy Business pages. If you tweet, the handle is at Joy 997 FM or at Joy Business GH. Don't forget to hashtag JB Masterclass. You can also call us on 0302 216541 or send your questions and contributions through to the WhatsApp number 0551 111997, and our facilitators will address your concerns. Attention everyone, class is in progress.
Welcome back. If you just tuned in, this is Masterclass and we're interactive right now. Numbers to call 0302 216 541. That's 0302 216 541. You can also send us a comment on 055 111 That's 055 111 If you're driving, please do not text while you drive, because we definitely want you to arrive alive. But otherwise, pick up that phone, give us a call, 0302 216 541. Jesse Sunkwa-Mills, CEO and Creative Director of Mills Media, is sharing the story of his business journey here with us. Pick up that phone, let's have a conversation, ask all the questions you can. If you are young at heart and you love animations like I do, let's have a conversation. Otherwise, call us and let's have a conversation about your business as well and see how we can all become a part of it. While we're waiting for the phone lines to ring and the messages to come through, Jesse, let's keep talking about there was another production you did apart from Asantewaa.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So we've done Rise, we've done The Guardians, and last year we put out To Me.
Tell us about Rise.
Okay, so Rise, we premiered in 2023, and it follows the story of a young boy who, he's lost one leg, but then is still determined to live his dream of being able to ride in a bicycle tournament. And so he puts together whatever he can find and makes his own bicycle, and then makes his own prostate leg, and contest in a bicycle competition, and eventually ends up winning. So it's more of a feel-good motivational story, and we premiered that as well at the Folks Place National Theatre awesome show, sold out again. Our shows are always sold out. But yeah, that was Rise in 2023, and then in 2024 we put out Guardians. The Guardians. It featured. I don't know if you've seen YOLO, but then it had 4 of the cast from YOLO. Basically, if you've seen, people likened it to Power Rangers, but Ghana Power Rangers. But then 4 superheroes.
What were their names?
There was Kofi, Umar, Na, and Afi.
Okay.
Yes, and the whole idea was to...
There was no Nanayao. I'm just kidding, though, man.
Maybe next time we'll add a Nanayao.
I'm just kidding.
But yes, portraying Ghanaian kids as superheroes, because we believe representation matters a lot, and we thought it would be nice and awesome for Ghanaian kids to be able to see themselves in the form of superheroes. So these kids were just ordinary school kids who ended up becoming superheroes, because they were chosen by the gods, and they were solving crime, they were solving all sorts of issues in their community and all. Yes.
When I was growing up, the only animation that had something close to Ghanaian in it was Captain Planet.
Oh, yeah.
His name was Kwame.
Yeah, Kwame, the black guy.
But they didn't even say Kwame, they said Kwame. That's the way they talk about it.
Yeah.
We're still interactive. Numbers to call 03022165541, or send us your comments on 05511119997. Tell us about funding. How has funding been like for you, setting this whole thing up?
That's a very funny question I always have to answer, but the honest truth is there really isn't any sort of funding when it comes to these things. That's quite unfortunate, because if you get a chance to see what's happening in other parts of the world, and you're like, why isn't this going on here? And so funding has been one of our biggest, and still continues to be one of our biggest challenges. It was the reason why, for instance, our first film had to delay till 2022, because we were looking for funding. We would go around with the proof of concept of the film just to see if we can get someone to, support us to make these films. But the problem had always been that they weren't sure if this was going to work in the first place. And it didn't also make sense to them that animation would cost that much, so funding has always been a big challenge. And so we've had to find our own ways or means of funding our films. And usually that's funds we would make from, the gigs that we will do. And then it goes back into making these passion projects.
So since you started talking, I hear you talking about passion, the delivery, the creatives and all of that. Would you be willing to look at a more, stay with your passion,
right,
but scale up to include another part of your process which looks aggressively at branding and marketing? Because I'm convinced that if an investor is listening and they could have a conversation with you that has a clear path for return on investment, they would be more than willing to partner you.
That's right. So in recent times, that's what we've started looking at. We're finding ways, practical ways by which we can raise funds to help make our film. So for instance, before, corporate Ghana didn't understand how they can even tap into something like this. And so we came up with a model where they can be able to place ads, for instance, in these films. Exactly. So we explored that with Guardians, and it worked perfectly. When you see the film, you would see some intentional ads that we placed in there, which we got some monies for, that helped in making the film. And so those are some of the other things that we are looking into. And of course, we've had investors approach us. I'll be lying if I say we've not had any, because we have a very, very attractive product, and there's also a very clear cut or path of ROIs, because for instance, when we premiere these films, it does cinema rounds for a while, and then we will do like campus stores where we screen the films, of course at a discounted fee for the students. We do festival rounds, and then it ends up on our flat platform, which is a pay-per-view platform, so you can actually see. And then we've got merchandising as well. So every IP we've got, that's how it is. It's like a 360. So the film, the merch, there's comics, and then there's even like games. So you see it, and then it ends up on the platform, which brings in something. And so, but then it's just you also cannot just jump onto any sort of wagon, because with these things you're a bit careful, because if it's just about making money in the end, for me, I don't think that's awesome. Yes. And usually we've been approached by people with, such kind of mentality, and it's really because they are seeing money alone and not the other parts of these things, or the primary reason why they started in the very first place. And it was to change the whole narrative and to tell African stories.
We'll come to the African stories. I think we had a certain conversation earlier on the phone preparing for this about telling the African story the African way. But I've got a couple of comments on social media.
Right.
Let's take those quickly. I've got Richard Ama on YouTube, and he says, I was listening in my car, and his voice sounds like President JDM. So I had to confirm the voice and face here. Kudos. So that's a comment for you from Richard Ama. Apparently, you sound like the president.
Wow, that's the first time.
If the president is listening, there's someone who sounds like you. He doesn't look like you, but he can qualify for a voice double.
Yeah, he's doing well now, so yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, I got another comment on social media. This one, it says it's from Pass Solo. Pass Solo says, hello, greetings, Team Masterclass, and Sir Leslie. I'm a lover of Android phones rather than Apple. So how can I watch his movies on my Android phone?
It's on Android as well. So
Android as well?
They can get the app on Android, Google Play Store, iOS. Yes.
I'll come to that before we sign off. In a few minutes.
Yeah.
How have you built your team over time? And your team is made up of what? How have you built your team? Is it developers, creatives?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So you could probably say like the whole value chain. Yes. It's obviously had to go through some series of change over the years, but it was all aimed at eventually being able to build some sort of system and a workflow, and so that anybody who comes in at some point can easily fit into it, and then it still continues that way.
How big is your team now?
You could say 10, but then if we have bigger projects and we need to outsource, we have guys we bring on contracts, and then they would plug in.
What's your average turnover per year?
You want me to put that on air now?
No, give me a range. As an inspiration. In excess of between.
That's I would want to tell you back door.
But it's good business. That's the point I'm trying to
No, yes. I'm not.
It's worth your time, it's worth your effort.
It actually is, yes.
Right.
It's brought so many good things. So
let's talk about value chain. Before we sort of round up today's conversation. We're still interactive. 0302216541. You can still send us your comments on 055111199. But let's talk about value chain. If someone is listening and they're thinking, how can I plug in onto your value chain to be a part of what you're doing, so that I may not be the one who does the creatives, I may not be the one who does XYZ, but where can I plug in to your business, sort of,
Yeah, so my team, for instance, like I was saying, is made up of graphic designers, it's made up of web developers, it's made up of programmers because we make games. We've got illustrators, storyboard artists, story writers, script writers, animators, 3D artists, like a whole lot of them. Yes, and so it's not made up only of technical guys. Yes, but then once the person has the love and passion for telling stories, definitely there's some way or somewhere you can always plug in.
So if someone had a marketing platform or
yes,
marketing
exactly.
company of some sort, and they wanted to plug in and say, listen, I'll handle all your XYZ, I'll put your product out there on the various platforms as part of the value
even
chain.
better. In recent times there have been conversations in the film space about the lack of what you just said. And sometimes I don't understand why. Maybe our film schools could maybe pick that up. If there's a course that teaches students or people how to sell film, because that's a big problem. Yeah, sell film, sell some of these creative stuff that we do, because the average marketer cannot necessarily sell a film. they might be be good at selling other products, but when it comes to selling something like a film or some other
because
creative,
it's intangible? You can't touch
you could say that, and usually that's where corporate Ghana sometimes has a bit of challenge, and that's where we as an industry would also have to find a way to, So
earlier we're talking about how some other countries of the world, we have a richer culture, so we like to think. Even if you take our regions alone, there's so much to talk about in terms of the expression and rendition of our culture, our history, as a people, our food, our music, our clothing, our language.
So much.
There's just so much to tell. But when you travel to other parts of the world, they've got all of this merchandise, and simple things like a leaf, some maple leaf,
leaf, and it's a big deal.
I'm thinking if you take the Volta region alone, I was spoiled for choice on the various things I can do. What do you think that the Ghana tourism team can do? I mean, they're listening. Abeku is listening this afternoon. Let's talk to Abeku. Abeku, good afternoon to you, Senior. I salute. What can they do, or how can they use your product to tell the Ghanaian story, for example?
So to touch on again on what other people are doing elsewhere, for example, anytime we go out or we have the opportunity to go out to film festivals and what have you, and shout outs to the French embassy because they've been a lot supportive. You find that in other countries, they've got systems that will allow somebody like myself be able to make films. So there's, for instance, like a film fund where if I've got a film, I can put together my proposal and say, this is the budget I need to make the film. I need 100K, and I've been able to raise 30K. And so then that government film fund goes through the proposal. They see you've got a good track record. Then they help or support you make the film. And this is something that's like a system that's there, but you do not have that there. I'm hearing things like it will come up soon. We're hoping that happens, but that's something that could help or go a long way, to helping us. And the other thing about, using stuff that we do, that's what, we have already started using our own stuff for like merch and whatnot, which makes money.
Palm wine, palm nut fruit.
So many things, so many things you can think about that we can do so much with. Yes. So, but we've got the Eiffel Tower used as keychains, and we've got the Adomi Bridge, we've got the Larabanga mosques, we've got the Independence Arc, all these things.
There's just so much we can do,
a lot,
especially with the tourism thing. And I know that Ghana is doing great when it comes to the year of return.
It's awesome.
Lately.
Awesome.
But I'm saying that we could do more. Just even on the merchandise front alone. I mean, sometimes when I'm traveling through the airport, I go to Cultural Center. We are doing great. But you see some of these metallic small things. We can do more and tell that people will have keepsakes and they'll hold on to it. I mean, I'm running out of time here, but what's our takeout for today's conversation? Where do we find you or your products online after this conversation?
We're on all the socials. We're on all the socials, and so when you go on Instagram, you'd find Mills Media _. It's on TikTok and it's on X as well, or you can go to millsmedia.co, and that's our website. You'd find a lot of information about us. And for the phone number, you could call or send us a WhatsApp on 053 727 2488. 053 727 2488.
Thank you so much, Jesse. If we remember nothing from this conversation, what do you want us to remember?
Let's keep telling our stories our way and unapologetically African.
Unapologetically
yes.
African. I love that. Jesse Sunkwa-Mills, CEO and Creative Director of Mills Media, telling us a story of his business journey. This has been Masterclass. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you same time next week.